Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to Nature Obscura, a podcast where nature and the supernatural collide. I'm Marissa.
And I'm Grace. Each week, we share spooky happenings from the great outdoors, from cryptids to curses, ghosts to witches, and everything in between.
We're taking you around the globe to explore where nature and the supernatural intersect.
At the beginning of the episode, we're going to briefly share any spooky or naturey encounters we've had before diving into the main story.
So grab your flashlight, listen closely, and let's step into the strange together. So, have you had any nature or spooky stuff happen to you this past week?
Well, besides the story that I'd already told you about almost dying over some road rage, not on my end, besides that, I really don't have anything spooky. As far as naturey goes, I've been seeing snakes around my yard. Just regular garter snakes, but super excited. Unfortunately, I've always had the baby in my arms, so I can't go catch them. But one of these days, I'm going to catch a snake. And I'm really excited about it.
That is really cool. I wish I saw snakes in my yard. I feel when I was driving in the car, I had to run to the store. I was like, usually have nothing to share. I have 3 things to share, and I don't remember what they are.
You can't remember any of the 3?
Okay, I remember one of the 3, so we'll start with that. No, okay, I have one and a I see, I had an extra thing. I didn't even think I was gonna including that in the original, but that's all I remember. So first, okay, so I've been sending you videos of my chickens. They usually don't start laying eggs till 6 to 8 months, and she's, like, just 4 months. Come back outside, there's a freaking egg! Her little fairy egg!
A fully formed egg?
A fully formed egg! It was in the
That's
same
so
spot.
amazing.
Yeah. I guess they call it a fairy egg because it's, like, smaller than like, their first egg is a smaller egg. But yeah, it's so
Oh,
cute and tiny.
congratulations. You're a grandma.
Thanks, I was so proud of her. I was like, "How do I commemorate this?" So I tried to take photos of her next to her egg, like a proud, like, mom with her, like, trophy, but I was like, "Could I preserve it?" I'm like, "I don't really wanna preserve an egg, that's kinda lame." So, I know I'll have to look up how long these are good for on the counter, but I was thinking we should hang out and we should read the egg.
Oh my god.
Can we? I think it'd be such a good way to bless Felicity's first egg.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The hardest part about that is getting time to hang out.
I know. But, like, I was like, "I think it's got, like, a
It has
3-week, maybe, shelf life. I can
Yeah.
make it work."
I mean, Marissa, can you imagine if, like, you wait too long and it's, like, black?
Things are going bad.
Yeah.
So and if she started laying, I'm sure my other ones will start laying soon, so I might have even more than 1, and I will do some research, but we should totally crack this thing open and see what we see.
Yes. That's really impressive because I've seen really small chickens, like young chickens, lay eggs before, and they almost always are much smaller than that. And sometimes they're even just like, they don't have the calcium around, so they're just like gelatinous. That's like a
Really?
2-inch egg.
Yeah, I was surprised by the size where I was like, "Oh, it's normal size," but it's just, like, it's slightly smaller. I also guess Jersey Giants lay really large eggs, so maybe that's a normal fairy egg for them, but yeah, I was so proud and impressed with her. I, like, ran to Tractor Supply to get oyster calcium because I didn't think I'd need it yet.
Aw.
Yeah, they grow up so fast.
Mhm.
My spooky thing is that it's not spooky yet. Did I tell you about that church that's near me that I get cultish vibes from? Okay.
No.
So I've lived here for about 3 years now. I've driven by it a few times. It's like back dirt roads. You know where I live. Basically, it's has like I always wondered what it was. There's no obvious signages. I thought it was like an abandoned church, big warehouse situation, some other smaller building, and some very old school buses that I think are still functional. 8-foot high chain link fencing around with like barbed wire over it. Okay, they don't want people there, whatever. Well, they're more active now. I guess it's just I wasn't going by on Sundays, but it's an active church. And
Surrounded by
so
barbed wire fence.
yes, in the middle of nowhere. It's like, why are you guys coming all the way out here to do this weird mega church thing? So I drive by this week, and because I noticed I've driven by like twice in the past week, their cars are like spilled in the parking lot. And I'm like, "What is going on? There's usually not cars here, like, every day." So I look, and it's the King's Court, Israel's homecoming.
Is it like a prom court where, like, there's people on the court?
Yeah, but it's, like, adults.
Oh, that's
So
weird.
that's a little strange.
I mean, maybe it's normal. I don't know.
Maybe it is normal. I'm
Who are
like,
we
I
to
don't know
judge?
that religion, but I will say, yeah. So it's like, I don't know for sure. But when I did look at their website, like, when I discovered what it was like, half a year ago, it was kind of weird, and they do have a living prophet that they have to follow his final word, and he acts as the voice of God, and that threw up a lot of red flags for me, and then there's
That's
only,
cultish.
like, 1
Yeah.
at a time, and then it's like, when he dies, okay, that's the next one, and I just, like, I feel like there could be very easily an abuse of power there, um, but I don't know. So, that when I saw that, I was like, "Ooh, that's giving, like, FLDS, like, not great."
That's so weird.
So,
Next thing you know, they're gonna, like, pop up, like, little houses around, and then they're gonna get a fence that you can't see through, and then you're gonna see them on the news.
yeah, I did try looking in, I was, like, typing cult, this, that, there's nothing on it being a cult, so maybe it's just a religious thing, and that's normal.
Or maybe it's just starting out, and in 10 years, 10, 15 years, it's gonna be full-blown, like, documentary on Netflix. You will be interviewed.
Maybe she
I think you gotta join. You know, it's just another little spooky thing you get to do.
I don't think I
I'll pull you
could.
out, Marissa. I'll pull you out if you get too deep. Army.
It uses the word army in the name,
Okay. That is
and
so
it's
touchy.
and it's okay, so do you see, like, why, like, it's just, like,
Yeah.
one, like, little thing after another, and I'm trying to be open, okay? But, like,
I still think you should join.
well, they have a Zoom, maybe I'll join virtually, I'm too scared to go in person.
A zoo?
A Zoom.
Oh, I was like, "They have a zoo? Oh my god." I mean, that's kinda scary.
I don't know why the word army's in it.
It I can't think of any reason other than maybe they're like, it's an apocalypse thing. Because I know, like, some cults, they'll, like, train for the apocalypse.
Yeah, I don't know, like, that's the thing, I don't know.
Are there any, like, outdoor cult stuff? Did we talk about this already?
I feel like there's gotta be, right?
I'm looking up outdoor birding cult. Welcome to the cult of backyard birdwatching. Yeah,
Maybe I'll hop onto one of their live streams just to get a vibe.
just check it out.
Yeah. Okay, sorry for that, but do you see how I could snowball with it? It's like one thing
Yes,
after
100%.
another.
I think you need to keep your eyes open
Okay.
and just report back.
So, for this week's episode, we are going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be going not to one location, but two. Friend of the podcast, Austin, who also hosts the Would You Die podcast, covering horror movies and their complete dissection of them in a really cool and funny way, recommended we do something on alligators a few months back. And it's summertime, and I think it's now the perfect time to do it. And also, I finally have had time to do it. So that's really cool too. Today, we are going around the globe to discuss strange alligator encounters or crocodile encounters. Grace is going to give us the lowdown on that. From sewer alligators in New York City to a very real life monster crocodile named Gustav in Africa. I love the name for such like it's apparently a deadly monster crocodile, and his name's Gustav.
So fancy.
I know.
I imagine he has a mustache.
He has to, right?
Yeah. So the world of crocodilians is far more diverse than many people realize, with 28 recognized living species. Scientists divide these modern day archosaurs into three primary families, each adapted to its own ecological niche. First, we have Alligatoridae, which includes 10 species of alligators and caimans. This family is uniquely adapted to thrive in cooler climates and freshwater environments, allowing certain species like the American alligator to venture much farther north. Geographically, Alligatoridae is primarily concentrated in the Americas, ranging from the southeastern United States down to Central and South America, with the sole exception of the critically endangered Chinese alligator found in a small region of eastern China. Next is the Crocodilidae, the true crocodiles, making up the largest family with 16 distinct species. Defined by their incredible adaptability and global reach, true crocodiles possess functioning salt glands on their tongues that efficiently expel excess salt. This evolutionary trait allows them to tolerate marine environments, migrate across open oceans, and dominate brackish estuaries, mangroves, and coastal lagoons around the world. Because of this marine tolerance, they have a massive tropical distribution, spanning the equatorial regions of Africa, southern Asia, northern Australia, the Pacific Islands, the Caribbean, and parts of Central and South America. Finally, there's the Gavialidae family, consisting of just two highly specialized fish-eating species, the gharial and the tomistoma. This family represents the ultimate masterclass in extreme dietary specialization, characterized by long, needle-thin snouts lined with interlocking teeth that are anatomically engineered almost exclusively for catching fish. And because their bodies are so highly adapted for a fully aquatic lifestyle, they are incredibly fast in the water, but quite clumsy on land. Their geographic range is highly restricted compared to other families. The gharial is native strictly to the deep, fast-flowing river systems of the Indian subcontinent, while the tomistoma is found in the freshwater swamps and rivers of Southeast Asia, specifically parts of Malaysia and Indonesia. When it comes to telling all these families apart, there are a few key visual and behavioral rules to follow. Alligators and caimans have broad, rounded U shaped snouts built for crushing hard shelled prey like turtles, and when their mouths are closed, their upper teeth overlap so that the lower teeth are hidden. In contrast to this, true crocodiles feature a narrower, tapered V shaped snout, and when their mouths are shut, the larger fourth lower tooth remains visible as it fits into a distinct notch on the upper jaw. And I always just think alligators, Florida, crocodiles, Australia, even though we clearly learned that they are all over the world. And I've even seen crocodiles in Florida, so that
What?
rule doesn't always apply.
Really?
Yeah, they have a crocodile there. I don't really know much about it, but we saw them both when we were kayaking and walking through the Everglades. Kind of terrifying, but I loved it.
Yeah, okay, so alligators U-shaped, crocodiles V-shaped.
And you could see their bottom teeth too.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and another easy way to see the difference is that alligators usually have darker, kind of black or gray skin tones, and they stick almost exclusively to freshwater swamps, lakes, marshes, due to their lack of those salt glands. Whereas crocodiles, they tend to display lighter, olivey, tan, brownish green coloration, and they're much more comfortable going through salty or brackish waters. Today, nearly half of the world's 28 crocodilian species face the threat of extinction due to habitat destruction, pollution, illegal poaching, and human conflict. Thanks to conservation efforts, though, the American alligator and the saltwater crocodile have seen remarkable comebacks thanks to strict legal protections. Others, such as the critically endangered gharial of India or the Chinese alligator, are hanging on by a literal thread in highly fragmented ecosystems. And protecting these apex predators is about more than just saving the fascinating link to our planet's deep evolutionary past. For millions of years, the animals have been scavenging on carrion, which is dead animals, and they prevent toxic bacteria buildup from those dead animals that curbs the spread of disease. And they also help clear channels and lakes and marshes from stagnating or even from plant debris. So at the end of the day, these ancient reptiles deserve our absolute respect, even if they do terrify us.
Thank you.
I've always said to anyone who will listen, I will never, ever live anywhere that has any kind of crocodilian. They
Really?
scare me, like, I love them, I think they're really cool, their natural history is interesting, I respect them, but I do not want to be somewhere, just walk in, and then all of a sudden there be a risk of something coming out and grabbing me, or, like, my dog, or getting my cat. Like, I'm not about that. Not that I would have outdoor cats, but, like, I take my cat for a walk, with a leash. I I'd be that person to die trying to save my cat from
Hmm.
an alligator. I don't know, I'm not about it. It's too much of a shock factor, I think.
Now that we have a good understanding of the difference between a crocodile and an alligator, let's go to New York City and talk about the sewer alligators that apparently are overtaking the town. The sewer alligator legend emerged in the early 20th century when, in 1935, a newspaper report described a group of teenage boys allegedly spotting an alligator in a Harlem storm drain. The story shocked the city, and from there it evolved. So, what started as a single alligator being spotted in a Harlem storm drain turned into a whole cryptid and conspiracy theory. The story generally follows that wealthy tourists were illegally bringing to their homes in New York City baby alligators from places like Florida and wherever else they were vacationing. The animals, obviously becoming too large and too aggressive for their New York City apartments or townhouses, um, they knew they needed to get rid of them. So, what else is there to do, um, when a animal gets too large for their space? Try rehoming, surrendering it to a rescue, anything like that? No. The only logical solution is to flush the alligators down the toilet, where they end up in the city's sewer system, living
Okay,
there and thriving.
that is crazy. That's crazy because if something's even too big to be in your home, you'd think it wouldn't fit down the toilet.
No, I guess they just didn't care.
But also, like, that'll clog your toilet. Like,
Sure. Could you imagine getting called out, you're a plumber, and there's an alligator stuck in someone's toilet?
yeah, sounds horrible.
I'd like to learn more about snakes in toilets because I know that can happen more often.
I feel like I've definitely seen that in a movie before. Snakes on a plane.
I haven't seen that movie, but I have seen it in a movie. I haven't seen that
What?
movie. Yeah, I know. I haven't seen a
Oh
lot of
my
them.
god. You haven't seen all of the, like, crazy animals attacking people movies?
No, it's never
Probably good.
probably good.
Keep them
But I did see
happy.
one, and I remembered after I was, like, scared to sit on the toilet because it's kind of scary. Imagine sitting on the toilet and the snake just comes up and, like, bites your bottom.
That
Not
has
fun.
definitely happened. I've heard that on podcasts before, stories like that.
Well, yeah, that also is probably why you're more freaked out by the animal stuff because you listen to, like, the survival or, like, the animal attack
Yeah,
stuff.
I do.
I don't ever listen to those. So, apparently, they survive the toilet flush. Toilets don't get clogged. Um, they end up going down to the city sewer system, and they essentially survive underground, thriving. And they've even established, apparently, breeding populations down there. They also may have some sort of supernatural elements, including the alligators reappearing and disappearing impossibly. And when city sanitation workers are down there, they may hear growls and splashing when there are no animals to be found. Some sightings even involve glowing eyes of unusually large alligator specimens. So they seem to be thriving. The sightings of the alligators are not just a one off hoax by some teen boys during the Depression. So there are alligators being found in these sewers. There's also been greater newspaper coverage over the years. It actually even prompted, in the 1930s, New York's former commissioner of sewers, Teddy May, to visit himself. The big guy, he went down to the sewers himself. And during his visit, with the beam of his own flashlight, he somehow spotted two alligators in the drains, averaging a length of only 2 feet. Okay, not as crazy as he thought. So they made up a plan of action. He needed to get this resolved so people would stop talking about alligators and sewers. They decided to bait and lure the alligators out where hunters waited to attack. So the alligators were killed in 1937. However, reported sightings in 1948 and 1966 were not consistent with the fact that these alligators were reported dead. Apparently, these alligators found during these sightings were larger. And from what I know about alligators, they can actually live for quite a long period of time.
I kind of want to look up how long alligators can live.
Yeah, throw out a number. I wanna say, like, 20 or 80 and nothing in between.
It says the American alligator's lifespan is about 50 years. Wait, it says that some have been known to live over 80 years. That's
80
cool.
years. So, maybe the commissioner found some alligators, but isn't it weird that he goes down and is just able to find them himself
Right,
with
like
how
first try.
large the sewer system is and probably complex? In the original article, a teenager, by the name of Salvatore Condalucci spotted a 7 to 8 foot long alligator. And so
Ugh.
this is right near the Harlem River, and he did actually, using a snare, drag the alligator out and kill it. There were witnesses. And apparently the alligator was super vicious and while they hunted it, which, I mean, vicious or just trying to protect itself. So I don't know, it's kind of strange that I guess there was some additional um sighting scene that caused the commissioner to go down. But now I'm wondering, are these 2 feet long alligators the alligator's babies? Why not?
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, my first thought was that maybe the commissioner planted them. Like, hey, I'm going to take this 2-foot alligator. I'm going to like bring it down there and act like I'm bringing it up to show people, like, hey, there's no issue. It's right here. I got it. We're going to kill it. We're going to remove it. So, but
That
I
would
also
make
like to think
sense.
that they're the babies.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
like your idea. That would make sense. And that just reminded me, did you hear about the loose alligator that was found, in the, like, Detroit River or in Belle Isle last
No.
summer? And
Are
everyone
you
was
serious?
freaking out about it. There was a bunch of news articles, all sorts of stuff. It became a whole media thing. Well, they caught the alligator, like, a week or 2 after the first reports were made. I kid you not, when it was no more than 2 feet. They were acting like it was a 10-foot long killer. Like, the
Yeah.
way the media reacted, it was insane. I'm just like, "Are you kidding me? It was a baby alligator." It's like,
Yeah.
"Guys,
2 feet is nothing.
no." I would feel comfortable picking that up, and I don't know much about like, just hold its mouth, like and
Yeah.
even the guy holding it, he's just I don't know, it looks like he's holding a baby, it's so small. I'm just like, "What?"
That's funny. I probably wouldn't have even survived a winter,
No.
which is has me questioning, like, how cold do the sewers get in New York City? Like, do those freeze? They can't freeze.
Well, I think it's kind of like 40 degrees.
Oh,
Is the
okay.
on the low end. I do think some may die out, but
Yeah.
maybe they've adapted. Also, can't they go into kind of a hibernation or brumation?
Yeah. I bet that's totally likely.
So, these alligators that have been spotted in the sewers are often described as albino. The reason behind their albinism is unclear. Some people say that the alligators are albino because they have been breeding in the sewers now for almost 100 years. And with how dark it is, they don't need to have the pigmentation, resulting in that lack of coloration.
I think that's how that works.
Okay, thank you, because I typed that and I was like, that doesn't seem right.
I
Um,
mean, yeah, I mean, that's sexual selection at that point, but also, like, mutations happen, but, I mean, you can't breed for that. I think that happens over more than 100 years, though. I mean, because
oh, yeah, for sure. No, for sure.
I don't know, yeah, I'm just questioning that a little bit because, like, we breed albino frogs, so, like, you would have had to have the mutation present, and then they would have had to breed, and, I mean, I guess it's possible, I don't know. I just work here, I don't know.
Grace has ruled the gavel. This is just nature. It is not obscure. People are
Yeah,
dumping their pets.
don't listen to me, I'm not a scientist. I just play one on the podcast.
There you go. Some even state that many of the alligators are blind and because it's so dark down there and they actually rely on their other senses as they hunt. Others say, the alligators are just coming from outside the sewers. Yeah, that's fine. I would say albino alligators probably are a more popular pet, quote unquote, than a standard alligator
That could be a good reason
as
why
well.
then.
So that would make sense that there's statistically more likely going to be albino alligators. Not only are the alligators possibly albino and blind, they also may have mutated somehow to survive. So, city workers say that the alligators could not survive the cold conditions, like we were talking about. But they also said that the harmful bacteria down there, even toxic waste. But instead of killing them, it only made them grow stronger. Is that what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is based off of? I just realized,
I
aren't they in New York City? Wait, they're turtles
Yeah.
though, but still,
How
they're
did they
mutated.
Yeah, how did they get mutated?
I don't know. I honestly know nothing about Teenage Mutant Ninja
I,
Turtles.
like, watched one of the cartoon shows. I was, like, really into it because I was, like, a babysitter that summer, so I watched it all religiously. And I don't know the answer to that. I know they loved pizza.
Yeah, I know they loved pizza, and they were mutated due to their exposure to a chemical substance known as mutagen or ooze. That makes
That
sense.
makes sense.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So the alligators were exposed to the ooze.
They were exposed to the ooze, same ones that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were. So, there's even a 1980s film called Alligator that's based on a giant mutant alligator, based on these myths. And just as recently as 2010, the police department of New York City did get a alligator out of the sewers in Queens. While these are likely cases of pets being abandoned, gone wrong, the legend persists, and there's actually even a quasi-holiday to celebrate. On February 9th, there is Alligator in the Sewer Day. Mark your calendars.
Aw, that's adorable.
Hallmark, they try and make everything a holiday.
Right, there's cards.
While the legend of the alligators in New York City is the most popular, the sewer alligators are much more likely to appear in Florida, of course. The alligators are often appearing and are sighted in drains and sewers of Florida due to waste outlets backing out into swamps during storm surges. They may also shelter in the sewers during the cold winter months where there's convenient drains and they're able to hunt for rats and similar to supplement their diet. I kind of love that. That's such a Florida thing, but also sucks that not only are they going down there to shelter, but there's sewage, like, they're getting like, souped up into the sewer system, and there's sewage going into the swamps. That's not too fun.
That's so sad.
I know. So, let's travel from the concrete jungle of New York City to the African jungle with the sightings of the Mahamba, or simply the giant crocodile. Found in the Congo, the Mahamba is described as an enormous crocodile more than 40 feet in length, and in some reports, over 60.
Quite the difference.
Yeah, it's huge. In length, this differs from the native Nile crocodile, which is only known to get about 20 feet max in length. Only about 20 feet is a crazy sentence, I will say, but 40 to 60, I mean, that's double, almost triple. So, this cryptid crocodile is said to look similar to just your normal standard crocodile, except for its size. It also has a similar diet and natural history, with the Mohamba eating flesh and eggs, though it seems to have a certain food preference: humans. The creature is said to also definitely different than other crocodiles. The creature is said to dig tunnels between 500 and 1,000 meters long into the earth, where it sleeps in a secretive, deep under earth cavern.
I kind of wish this animal actually did exist.
I want a GoPro on it, and I want to see these deep under earth caverns. Have you ever read Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yes, we read it for our book club, Marissa.
We did. Did we? I liked it. I, I thought I was just being like studious and read that on my own time. I really liked that book though.
No, I did too. What I was thinking of is this is actually really scary because you could just be standing outside and all of a sudden, like, a crocodile just, like, comes out of nowhere, out of the ground and just grabs you.
So, witnesses of the creature swear it's not just a larger variety of a crocodile. Let's discuss the first sightings of the cryptid that occurred in 1888. So, this is from W.H. Marshall, and this was in a journal that he wrote. They referred to the alligator, I think, as the nemesis. As the nemesis was proceeding onwards towards our destination, nope. The nemesis, I guess, is the name of the ship, which is kind of weird, but okay.
I liked it as the alligator name better.
Me too. So the boat was proceeding when, quote, our attention was directed to an alligator. They got it wrong, guys. It's a crocodile.
Ooh, it's so embarrassing.
Embarrassing. They don't know the difference. Okay, back into the quote. Directed to an alligator of enormous length, which was swimming along the tide, a very strong tide, at a rate which was perfectly astonishing. I never beheld such a monster. It paused within a very short distance from us, its head and nearly half its body out of water. I should think that it could not have been less than 45 feet long measured, from the head to the extremity of the tail. That's 45 feet for us 21st century people.
5 at 40.
And I am confident that it was traveling at a rate of at least 30 miles an hour.
Crazy. 30 miles an hour is crazy. But you know what? A house cat can run 30 miles per hour. Did you know that?
No,
Yeah, that's the only fact I know that I randomly want to throw in there. But yeah, that's really fast.
that is super fast. I'm gonna have to throw Sylvester on a treadmill and time him. Marshall had a second encounter later on, traveling on the river in the AIA, which is a different boat. So during this time, the AIA was traveling along the river when they suddenly were pushed onto a sandbank, and they think it was because of a crocodile. He looks out. He realized that in between, Marshall learned how to ID an alligator from a crocodile. He now calls it a
Mhm.
crocodile.
Yeah.
He said that it was longer than 40 feet and it rushed across the bank and tumbled into the water beyond. He had never seen a large crocodile move so quickly and had no time to get a shot at him. He believed that the crocodile had actually heard them coming and had been trying to make it for deep water when they struck the bank. And in the process, they actually ran into the crocodile. Crocodile just had a huge boat run into him, seemingly unfazed, was able to move. He could not see any marks that bore any signs of injury. It's like he was
I
made of steel,
mean, it kind how fast was the boat going?
moving at a rate of 4 miles an hour. I feel
Okay.
like they wouldn't have I feel like they wouldn't have made a mark on me if they hit me at 4 miles an hour, to
Yeah,
be
I
fair.
feel like they have really tough skin, so I feel like maybe he just doesn't know his natural history.
He's a he's not a naturalist. I don't think
No.
that's what he's there for. Or if he is, sorry, W.H. Marshall. The legend of the Mahamba is deeply rooted in Central African oral history. Many stories portray the creature as dangerous, known to attack livestock and even boats. So there's numerous reports of this crocodile just swallowing rafts, kayaks, taking a nibble out of a steamboat. I don't know about that. But the smaller boats, they'll just eat them right up.
I can imagine if there's a crocodile that's 40 to 60 feet long, that mouth has to be huge.
Some believe the Mahamba to be actually a spiritual entity instead of a physical one. They think that the presence of the Mahamba is often associated with warnings or omens. Others believe that it's very real. Let's sift through the many theories. First, there's a theory that this cryptid is actually a freshwater adapted mosasaur. Mosasaurs were giant marine reptiles that lived during the late Cretaceous period and went extinct about 66 million years ago. Some cryptozoologists have suggested that a small population actually survived and eventually adapted to freshwater lakes and rivers in remote parts of Africa. Others think that maybe it's just an isolated population of some freakishly large Nile crocodiles. That seems more likely, but wouldn't it have already been documented? So there was one particularly large crocodile that had been named and well documented for its size in the region, the famous crocodile Gustave from Burundi. He was estimated to be about 18 feet in length and became legendary due to his size and reputation. He's believed to inhabit the Ruzizi River and the northern reaches of Lake Tanganyika. Gustave gained notoriety through reports linking him to numerous attacks over several decades, though many of the claims remain unverified. His immense size, distinctive scars, and repeated escapes from capture attempts helped transform him from a very real crocodile into a modern monster legend. Gustave's story actually reached an international audience through the 2004 PBS documentary Capturing the Killer Croc, which featured French naturalist Patrice Fay's efforts to locate and capture Gustave, who they were unsuccessful.
Darn it.
We don't know if Gustav is still alive. Probably not, but it's possible. We have another extinct possible animal. This more likely than the mosasaur. An extant crocodilian Sarcosuchus, aka a super croc.
I need to look up pictures right now.
So, a Sarcosuchus was a gigantic crocodiliform that lived approximately 112 million years ago in what is now North Africa. It may have reached 30 to 40 feet in length, so it is the same size as what people are reporting to be seeing.
It's huge.
It may have reached 30 to 40 feet in length, and the Sarcosuchus fossils come from Africa, giving the theory geographic, veracity. The youngest Sarcosuchus fossils, though, are over 100 million years old. Large apex predators require substantial populations, and they're going to leave ecological traces with their large size. So that seems unlikely. But,
Yeah, an animal that size is gonna eat a lot of food.
definitely. The last theory, and perhaps the most believable, it's a new, undiscovered species. Rather than a prehistoric survivor or dinosaur come back to life, or something supernatural cryptid, maybe the animal could be an unknown species of crocodile that has adapted to a specific habitat. New crocodile species have been recognized surprisingly recently as the 2010s. Another valid point, which also could fall under the others and make them maybe a little more believable, is that Africa's Congo Basin remains one of the least studied ecosystems on Earth. Large vertebrates do continue to be discovered, especially in remote regions, though giant species would still need a breeding population, and large animals, again, are usually easier to detect. So there's a lot of back and forth, basically. But it is a very remote area. There has been recent distinctions in species, so maybe we're just gonna have this 40-foot giant croc be deemed a new species, like the Nile crocodile and the West African crocodile that recently became distinct from one another through modern genetic work. So these dense and underexplored regions of Africa could host a number of undiscovered species. Is the Mahamba one of them? The crocodile blends the supernatural with the very real accounts of extraordinarily large crocodiles from both locals and visitors. It can't all just be tricks of lights, shadows, or poor depth perception. So, is it nature or something obscure? Or both?
Doo-doo-doo.
Doo-doo-doo.
Alright, so let's get into this scare scale. I feel like we already know what mine is gonna be, 10, but, let's just review what the scare scale is. So 1, barely scary, it's kind of fun, doesn't even give you a shiver. 5 is you get a really good startle, like, you see this alligator crocodile, you're like, "Holy crap, that's really cool," but don't necessarily wanna get close to it. 10 is you are scared out of your mind, and you don't want to live anywhere near alligators, crocodiles, even if it's in New York City where there might be a chance being close to an alligator in the sewers or coming up the toilet. You don't want that.
No, never. I would say an 8. If
Yeah,
there was actually like a real giant crocodile that could be eating people and traveling fast. That's scary.
it is. I recently went, as in recently, like the past year, went to Toledo Zoo and we saw a giant crocodile. And just the way it looked at me scared me. Like, I was way too close. I was probably within 10 feet of it, and I was so scared. Like, out of nowhere, it could have just jumped up and got me.
Through the glass?
There wasn't even glass.
What?
I was in a behind the scenes tour, so there was just, like, a short brick wall,
Oh my
and I was like
god.
I was scared.
You could have gotten eaten.
The guy's like, "Alright, now don't lean too far over."
Oh
I'm
my
like, "What?"
gosh.
I know.
That's
So,
insane.
yeah, it's so scary.
It's all starting to make sense, your fear. Well, thanks for listening to this week's episode of Nature Obscura. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Let us know. What are your thoughts on crocodiles and alligators? Are you finally going to remember the difference between the two? Or are you just super smart and you knew it all along, unlike me? Let us know. You can email us at natureobscurapod@gmail.com.
Stay obscure, Earthlings.
Transmission ending.